our power of our information, of our threat telemetry to do just that for you. We're doing this to help you address the threats, not just that are out there, but the ones that matter the most to you. From measuring the efficacy of a specific product to measuring the efficacy of your entire security posture. From mitigating threats to mitigating risk, more broadly speaking. And it's about as close as you can get to playing offense if you're a defender. And we're convinced that done well, this will change the way security architectures are funded, managed, and even sustained over time. Now you're going to hear a lot more about this tomorrow morning in the keynote from our CTO, Steve Grobman. But we couldn't resist the temptation to give you a little bit of a sneak preview into what will debut tomorrow, which is going to be mVision Insights. It'll be the latest addition to our mVision platform. But to give you that sneak peek, I thought I'd invite Steve, ask him to take a moment away from his prep for tomorrow to come up to stage and talk to us more about that. Welcome up to stage, Steve Grobman. My voice is still sort of holding up here through this. Steve, talk about tomorrow. What are you excited about?
So tomorrow, what really excites me is we're not only going to talk about mVision Insights, we're actually going to show you. We're going to show you the capability that we're going to deliver, but we're also going to give a sneak peek behind the curtain of how the technology actually works and show how this capability is able to solve some of the problems that we've never been able to solve before, really in the whole industry.
So Steve, talk to us about like the points of value. One of the things I always like to start with, if you're going to bring something new, tell the customer what they're going to get out of it. Why should they care?
Sure. So there's a few things that we really want to focus on. Number one is it's being able to detect the threats in your environment that really matter better than what you're able to do today, but also be able to anticipate threats that would potentially impact your environment and end up in a better outcome. You and I talk a lot about, at the end of the day, it's outcomes that matter, and we want to make sure that Insights is focused there. We also want to answer one of the top questions that we know that our customers have, which is, what technology do I need deployed in order to be protected against a specific threat? And then finally, we'll show how Insights is part of the McAfee mVision family, where seeing threats is one thing, being able to respond and mitigate them is absolutely critical. So it's really that integration of all of the McAfee tools and products into the Insights platform is what we're going to be able to show.
And so we should think about this almost as like an overlay across all the different tools and capabilities a customer has.
That's exactly right. So Insights will be a capability, but it's also a strategy that we're integrating across the McAfee product line.
So Steve, can you talk a little bit more about how we're delivering Insights?
Sure. So there's a few key concepts that make Insights possible. Number one, it's about putting a local organization's context in perspective of that billion sensors. So we've gotten to the point where we need to stop thinking about the way the world works and the way your organization works and thinking about them separately. It's really about putting them together. It's doing that using advanced AI and our human threat intelligence assets that we have in the company.
So Steve, it sounds a lot like a tip though. Like, how is this different than a lot of the different threat intelligence solutions that are out there right now?
So one of the key things is, in order to really understand security context, we need diversity in what we're seeing from those sensors. And this is where McAfee has an incredible advantage. We don't have just one type of sensor. We have endpoint sensors, we have network sensors in our NPS, IPS solution. We can see what's happening at a perimeter level, but we can also see all of our cloud data. It's putting all of that together instead of thinking about these different technologies independently allows us to really understand the threatscape and see what's happening. And we can do this not just in one type of organization, but we do this in enterprises, governments, and even consumers.
Yeah, and the way I like to think about it is, it's great to have endpoint data, for example, but if something gets blocked at the gateway or blocked by an IPS, the endpoint doesn't even know it happened, right? So it has no context.
You need to have that perspective at all of the different levels.
Now, Steve, one of the things as we talk to customers, and I think this is really important because we have talked to a lot of our customers about what we're doing here, is they hit us hard with it's got to be actionable, it can't just be interesting. How are we making it actionable for the customer?
So there's a few things. Number one, we want to be very careful to not add a whole bunch of new complexity to what our customers have to deal with, which is why we integrated insights into EPO. So it's part of the framework that our customers are already working with. The other thing that we've done is we know that when we identify an insight of interest, it often requires the next level of investigation, which is why doing a simple one-click pivot into Envision EDR is one of the key capabilities we'll be demonstrating, I think, on that stage right there tomorrow.
Indeed. So, that architecture that I talked about earlier, though, and correct me if I'm wrong, it'll not only allow us to ingest data from our own products, but from the partners that we integrate with as well. Do I have that right?
That's right. So one of the design philosophies of Envision Insights is it's open. You talked about OpenDXL earlier. We've made Envision Insights open so that not only can we do our own analysis, our customers can do their analysis as well with their power users.
Now, Steve, this isn't just something that's coming in the future. In fact, we have some products and capabilities that are in the market now that can deliver this. So like our Cloud Maturity Advisor is an example of this. Can you tell the audience a little bit about that capability?
Absolutely. So one of the things that is critical is to really understand the security posture of your environment. And when we think about the rapid pace of evolution in our internal organizations, in the threatscape, we need to think about good ways to benchmark that. One way is benchmarking against our peers. In our Cloud Value Maturity Advisor that's actually available today on Envision Cloud.
Well said.
Thank you. We're able to do exactly that, where we can understand the security posture, how secure the cloud environment is, really across the spectrum of SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. And it's not that McAfee is inventing some benchmark. We're able to use industry standard benchmarks like CIS.
So we're not just looking at it from our perspective. So, but how will I use this information if I'm an admin to do something different in my environment?
So what's really neat about this maturity advisor is it not only does the benchmark, but it identifies what is driving the benchmark score lower or higher, and allowing you to very easily understand what are the actions that you need to take in order to become world-class within your industry.
So, and that's just one of the first step of what we're doing here to bring this notion of better insights to the customer. Hey, Steve, I appreciate you taking a little bit of time. You ready for tomorrow?
I am ready. I ask everyone, go to bed early. Don't do too much craziness in the casino. We got some amazing demos tomorrow.
Excellent, Steve. Thanks for coming up here. Great. In keeping with our theme, one of our most precious resources, particularly in our security operations teams, is time. We all know security teams are overwhelmed by alerts, incidents, all the information they've got to sift through to deal with any one of the events that they've got to triage in the environment. Some of those alerts are bad, some are benign. Far too many in our world today are false positives. The list is long and the volume is up across the board. We all know that. And that's why we've been an advocate of the notion of human-machine teaming, bringing the power of analytics and technology together with the intelligence and the agility of the human to get a better outcome. A good example of this is our machine learning algorithms, for example. You'll find that in our endpoint security products, on our gateway, and our network security products. That's improved the efficacy of our products across the board. But we've gone a lot further this year. Not only what Steve's going to talk about tomorrow, but in the deep learning AI that's part of our Envision EDR product that we announced last year here at Empower. It's designed to augment the human element of any investigation. It helps save time. It also improves the skill level of the analyst that's using the tool. The demo behind me shows a comparison of an analyst using another tool, 20 screens, dozens of applications, many clicks, 2 hours to conclusion of an event, versus one application, a couple of clicks, one screen, 6 minutes to conclusion. The 20 screen one, advanced analyst. The shorter one, novice analyst. Envision EDR can make a novice analyst more efficient and more effective in getting the job done, saving each and every one of us very precious time, particularly where we're the most pressed for it in our security operations teams. We debuted Envision EDR from the stage here last year, but we've made a lot of improvements to it over the course